Welcome back to States and Kingdoms. Today we're talking about Black Sabbath and their album Master of Reality from 1971.
This is possibly
the most influential album.
the album we're talking about right now.
Oh, okay.
I think
the most influential album.
it would be interesting. What is the most influential record? I mean, this definitely.
In rock and roll.
This is up there. I don't know how many more records have influenced so many people.
It's true. I would say that is true. True story.
Even with bands like Iron Butterfly, Blue Cheer, we talked about Blue Cheer recently, and I do think they deserve credit for, because no one sounded like that. I don't.
No, that was early.
We're talking. We said they saw Jimi Hendrix. They took that and they just did just the heavy parts.
Yeah, they just amplified
just
all
the
things
loud
that were
stuff.
already Yeah.
I mean, it's really pretty awesome, those first two Blue Cheer records.
But when you hear Black Sabbath, it absolutely sounds like something different.
It sounds like everyone after that.
And it sounds like, that's the thing, like this album still just sounds so fresh and so modern. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I think if you put this on for someone who didn't know it at all and was just like, guess when this is from.
Because there are still bands that will come up and just sound exactly like Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
That happened, I don't remember what that band was. It was a while back.
No, but it's crazy.
It's called Soundgarden. No, no. There's another band.
I mean, funny that you brought up Soundgarden, because I was an enormous teenager, and I liked Soundgarden. No, you know that I was a very big Soundgarden fan.
Yes.
Just enormous
yes.
Soundgarden fan, and so I'd heard Soundgarden before I had heard this album. Before I'd heard most of Black Sabbath.
No, we didn't grow up listening to Black Sabbath.
No, of course not. No, of course not.
No, so you heard Soundgarden.
I heard Soundgarden first.
Quite a bit before.
So then when I did hear Black Sabbath, I was kind of floored.
Well, because a lot of people think Soundgarden sounds like Led Zeppelin.
Well, that's what people like to say. They like to
just
say
Black Sabbath.
They like to say that. Well, Chris Cornell for sure is a Robert Plant type, but he's an Ozzy.
No,
type.
He's actually an Ozzy Dio type,
right.
Which is really. I mean, he sometimes sounds like both of them.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many similarities in just the sort of lumbering quality of the songs, the riffs, of course.
The riffs
and just some of the song structure.
Sure.
There's a real there's a lot of Black Sabbath and Soundgarden, of course.
I said once before, heavy metal could be called Black Sabbath. It really could. I mean, this album establishes a ton. Yeah. That people, I mean, the second band, after Black Sabbath was Judas Priest, and, they're amazing as well, and we'll talk about Judas Priest, obviously quite different, but you can hear, on Sad Wings of Destiny, I mean, especially, we were just listening, I mean, you hear
the Black Sabbath
in that. I mean, they definitely were paying attention. Everyone sounds like Black Sabbath, and their influence is not just in, like, heavy metal, but through Black Flag. Many other bands.
All kinds of post-punk, proto-punk, hardcore.
Well, Frodo-punk, which is the Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
Yes.
Alternative. I mean, yeah, it's such a it's such a far-reaching.
Well, that's the thing.
It's really
when
hard
we say how
to track.
Influential it is. It really is.
You don't even know. It's too big. It's too big.
So I mean, like, the Melvins to, like, Queens of the Stone Age, all through Black Flag, all through, they're and so many more. I mean, it's this album, and I mean, it's not, of course, not just this album. There are 2 albums before this, and great albums after, but this one sets the standard.
It's not very long. It's a pretty short album.
I mean, it's the first where he tunes down to C sharp, and the growl of this guitar. I mean, the change in the sound in the guitar, it's noticeable, and it is just, like, epic. I never get tired of listening to the sound of Tony Iommi's guitar on this and Volume 4 as well. They did great ballads. Solitude is a great ballad.
Yeah.
And I love Tony Iommi's guitar interludes, which are also, often beautiful. They do add something. They do really add a respite between songs. It is similar to Judas Priest. Judas Priest doing a Joan Baez song, and these bands weren't just like one note. They really did, have a lot of variations, a lot of nuance.
This album is like really well balanced.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like really well structured. Nice track listing. There's just feels really solid and balanced. You go from one song to the next, and one will be a little more aggressive, and then one's a little, like you said, like a little place to rest.
Different rhythms.
Yeah, there's just everything is like very dynamic and not one note at all. Not even one style. Like most of the songs have like that heavy riffness.
Yeah.
But within that, there's so much other stuff going on, and then Ozzy's voice is just so good and so unique.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, trying to figure out exactly like what influenced him, who
John Lennon
he was
is an
listening to.
Obvious one, but his phrasing is still different, and it's where exactly did that come from?
Such a great voice and just so interesting to listen to. It just really is like really interesting.
He's always a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah,
he really is. But
it's really soulful.
Say the word riff. We're using the word riff more than they do in West Side Story. But I mean, just every song, the riffs are perfect.
Because they are. They are riff based.
Such incredible style. I mean, everyone copied it. They did. I mean, it's just inimitable. I mean, the things. Whether Blue Cheer or things, Inagata Vita, which has a similar kind of riff, but how he took it, where he took it, what he does, like the beginning of After Forever, that riff, that
so cool.
Is such an awesome sound, and it's just like. You just want to play it. It sounds so cool. It's such an interesting thing. I mean, they basically heavy metal is something from Black Sabbath, but the bands that to me with the actually play like riffs most like Tony Iommi are actually the the Melvins or like Black Flag, the Melvins, or some Josh Homme iteration or other, or some of those like Sleep, obviously. I mean, of course. And I've said before, I mean, it's kind of fun. I mean, their albums, Volume 4 is I really love, and they do have slower songs, ballads, more like bluesy songs, kind of folky songs. They and like Black Sabbath could be the answer to almost like what's your favorite psychedelic, band? Black Sabbath. What's your favorite hard rock band? What's your favorite heavy metal band? What's your favorite proto-punk band?
Prog band.
Prog, absolutely. You could go there. They
Sunshine Pop.
Exactly. I think they're more awesome than people even let on.
Yeah, because I think you really got to get in there and listen a little more and really just take it in and realize how good it is and when it was made.
One of the things you hear, one of the only things you hear is the Paranoid. So it's from Paranoid, and that is not my favorite album.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's not Keep Me Up Nights, but I mean, the first album, this Volume 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Even me, I was impressed and a little surprised by the depth and the range of Black Sabbath. Mm-hmm. Just from mostly Paranoid, and whatever I knew of them before I listened to the albums, I understood logically that they had a big influence, but I didn't understand until I really listened. Mm. I didn't understand that it was really that good and that it was this album
that unique. Yeah.
As soon as when I heard this the first time, it was like, oh,
there it is.
oh, that's where that's
everything.
from. Yeah, there's all this stuff. It's like it's right from here.
Well, because you brought it to me and you were like, what is this? What does this
sound
like?
Soundgarden thing. It was. You
were like, what does this sound like? I was like,
yeah, it's Soundgarden.
Shit.
Yes. You know, the funny thing also is, who's your favorite contemporary Christian band? Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah, you missed that.
Yes.
That genre.
After Forever is just about the most Christian song like I've ever heard. It's kind of funny.
Sung by the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, and Lord of this world. I mean, he is singing from Satan's point of view, but he's not happy about it.
Right.
Which is also
and that is the important part that people overlook.
But that doing that is something that I was saying that like Slayer did. Taking the point of view of like the evil thing, and singing about evil, but as the evil.
Right.
And
then people misunderstand and they assume that the band is evil.
It's just like being one part of a miracle play.
Right.
Just the bad part. But no, I mean it's really very interesting, and that's another thing that I mean this album I was actually very surprised by, because that is not the Reputation. That's
not what people talk about.
No, it's not.
Their Christian side.
No, not really. Their influence can almost not be overstated. And this album is like the epicenter of it, really.
Thank you so much for watching our brief discussion of Black Sabbath and Master Reality. Let us know what you think of this album in the comments. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to States and Kingdoms, and we will see you next time.